Jeff Katz, News Radio WRVA. It is Monday. Well, good, bad, or indifferent, it is Monday. And we are talking about so much. I got to tell you that I had the opportunity not too long ago to be on a great podcast called Badge to the Bone. Now, it's something that I have personally been a fan of. I love the content, and when these guys asked if I would come on the show, on their podcast, I thought, well, yeah, absolutely. So I was thrilled to do it, and I just wanted you to learn a little bit more about it, simply because there's a lot of it that relates to our community. Not all of it, but it's just so well done, and there's such great insight from these two gentlemen, Alan Sloniker and Denny Prophet. I'm happy to have both of you gentlemen here. Thanks for being here, guys.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you having us on.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know which one of you wants to take the lead, but somebody's going to give us a little background. Explain to everybody exactly who Alan Sloniker and Denny Prophet are.
Oh, wow. You want to take that one?
Sure. Well, I mean, as far as Denny Prophet, I'm former law enforcement, former first responder, good longtime friend with Al, and we ended up having the discussion to come up with a podcast to help law enforcement.
Yep.
And I'll let Al give his.
Yeah, I was in law enforcement for 26 years, retired this summer. Prior to that, did EMS, did search and rescue, been in public safety since, I think both of us have been in public safety since we were like teenagers.
Yep.
And this was really, I got to give it to Denny, this was his brainchild. We wanted to do something to give back to the community. You know, you do this job long enough, and it does take a toll. I don't care who you are, whether you're a cop, you're a firefighter, first responder. It takes a toll, and you get to a certain age, you see the chinks in the armor. Right. And, you know, you look around, and the people around you, you sometimes see people, you know, you love and you care about that are sometimes really struggling. So we wanted to do something to, as they say, stop the stigma and talk about, candidly, mental health, mental wellness for law enforcement, first responders. And we talk about a variety of issues related to the profession, but that's really our go-to.
This is one of the most beautiful parts about this, and I say it to both of you guys. It is meaningful to those of us who have ever worn a uniform, ever served in any way, but it is informative and educational for people at this point all over the world with your podcast, Badge to the Bone. People who have never worn the uniform and may or may not know somebody who is a first responder. Guys, they're able to listen to this and say, oh, I think I learned something, and man, that explains a lot about whatever the situation was.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and Jeff, I'll tell you, I'll be candid with you that, you know, I was one of the first responders that struggled, and it had some damage. It had some impact. And so what helped me get through that and kind of find a light at the end of the tunnel was really hearing, you know, the stories and hearing things that other first responders had gone through. And it was very similar stories. Yep. So that's kind of where it prompted me to do that, you know, kind of tell my story, get that out there. And we hope that through our conversations, we can help first responders that are listening. And, you know, we also try to keep it light. When we talk about a serious topic and we talk about serious issues, but we also try to still keep some, you know, some good old-fashioned cop humor in there and have it, you know, be an enjoyable conversation while addressing a serious topic.
Absolutely. I want to remind everybody, Denny Prophet and Alan Sloniker are joining us. These two guys, both retired from law enforcement. They've got a podcast now called Badge to the Bone. They just started their third season, and the origin for this, Denny, as you point out, sort of just sharing these stories. And the three of us know, and anybody who's ever been involved with this knows, there was a time when you were told, if you were in law enforcement, look, just suck it up, guys, just walk it off. I mean, yeah, sure, you saw the most heinous, disgusting, vile act, but you know, you got to answer another call, so just get your rear end back in gear, don't dwell on it. And then you're left with these images, these visions. You don't want to share them with your family because you'd like to protect them. But, man, you got to process this stuff somehow.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes it is everybody's different. And sometimes it is, those big instances of, something horrible happens. Then other times it's just a drip, drip, drip over time. And yeah, you got to get it out. And going back, I thinking both of us can say for our academy days, nobody talked about this.
Right.
You just didn't talk about it.
And Jeff, I'll tell you, when I was going through things, when I had struggles, because when I came up through that wasn't something you talked about. So people around me didn't know. And, one of my best friends out here is on a podcast. He didn't know. I didn't talk to him because you just didn't talk about it. Right. And that's what we're trying to overcome. We're trying to get beyond that, to have these conversations, to talk about what's going on and what you're feeling, what you're seeing.
Let me ask you about the differences. We're all talking here. None of us actively serving. Alan is the most recent retiree, but even so, he's right, 26 years of service. Is there a change now? If somebody's coming through the police academy in 2024, is this going to be addressed there?
I think you're starting to see a change in the profession. I think you're starting to see leadership within the profession being much more willing to talk about it, to provide resources for it. I know that Department of Criminal Justice Services, for example, which regulates all law enforcement training in Virginia, they have started offering training and an annual conference, which is excellent, called the Impact of Trauma Conference, that they will be offering again right after Labor Day in September. Both of us will be there. I believe we're both going to be presenting there. So, yes, you're starting to see a change, and that's good. It's a very good thing.
Yeah. The thing is, and we talk about, again, we could talk about it through the prism of the rearview mirror. Yes, it's addressed. There's still some attitude. Everybody's supposed to just get on with what they're doing. But I'm so thrilled to hear that. And this impact of trauma, this to me sounds really, really forward thinking.
Oh, yes. Yes. And they are looking to do this as an annual thing. I believe this will be their fourth year, Denny. Is that correct?
Man, I want to say this is probably 7th or 8th year for the conference. It's been going on for quite a while.
That's incredible.
And not every agency has caught up and is providing these resources and treating this the way that they probably should be. But more agencies than not are starting to move that ball forward. And so we want to have these conversations. And we talk a lot about other issues that are current in the law enforcement community. But this is our go-to. And again, we want to keep it relatively light because we are talking about something that's so heavy.
Yeah.
We want to keep it light, and we want to keep it accessible to people that are not in the profession. We want this to be a show that people, who just are curious about the law enforcement profession, or they love somebody in their life that's in the law enforcement profession, and they just want to understand more. Yeah. This is something they can tune into and hopefully connect with.
Your presentation on each of these episodes, I think, is just off the chart. And I shared this with you guys from the very beginning. I'm a listener. I really, really enjoy the content, but I appreciate what you're doing. And you have the opportunity. I mean, here you are. You're based right here in Central Virginia, Chesterfield County, but you are sharing this all over the country. And you've had some major people pop in to talk about it. One of the ones, one of my heroes, Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. I mean, tell me about that.
Oh yeah, he was wonderful. I think he connected with you initially, Denny.
He did. I was actually surprised. I thought it was a kind of a swing for the fences, if you will, to reach out and see if he'd want to come on to, our little podcast. And he responded, and he put me in touch with his guy that schedules. And sure enough, he came right on, and it was a fantastic episode. And he's actually coming back. He wanted to come back, and we're going to talk about his new book and do what we do. But he is coming back in March, I believe, to record again.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now, one of the things that may strike some people as odd, but for many of us is completely and totally natural, and you guys have each alluded to it, it's the humor portion of it. Folks oftentimes look at a television show, I don't know, Law and Order, NCI, or whatever, and they think, well, there you go, that's police work. And I'm thinking, no, if you ever watch the old Barney Miller show, that's the banter, right? Come on, guys.
Yes.
Right? Griping about bad coffee and whoa, Jehovah screwed this one up, and poor Barney's never going to make deputy inspector. And I mean, it's that, and you're so front facing with the humor that I really think it opens it up to people who, again, wouldn't ordinarily listen, but man, they're a little taken aback, but it becomes a tool, doesn't it?
It does. It's the humor helps you connect with folks. The humor helps us, kind of, I don't want to say reconcile, but kind of move through some of the things we've experienced. It gives that connection. And I think everybody can appreciate some good humor, but it really is important that our show can be listened to anybody. I think Al really summed it up great, but that humor, I think, really helps kind of bridge some of those gaps, if you will.
Yeah. I absolutely think it does. Alan, you are, without question, one of the funniest guys that I know, and I mean that in a good way. No, stop it. I'm not talking about motorcycles or training, none of that stuff. So come on, but Al, I'm not speaking out of my ear here, right? You have noticed as well, of course, 26 years. You got to laugh, you got to smile. Sometimes even when other people go, man, I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's making jokes.
Oh, it's how you get through. I mean, you cannot be in these types of professions and not have a sense of humor. You have to. And, sometimes that humor can get kind of twisted and weird, it's actually some of my best memories of the job are the funny ones. That's right.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So give us an idea. I mean, you kicked off, this is now your third season, and you were so kind. You I don't know if Colonel Grossman just canceled on you for that night or whatever it was, but you said, hey, would you come on? It's like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we sat here. We could have gone another 3 hours and not broken a sweat. It's just so natural with you guys.
Oh, thank you. I've always been interested in radio and talk radio. Yep. And I love the podcast phenomena, if you will. I listen to a lot of podcasts myself, but we had never sat in front of microphones before. So, it was quite a learning curve, and there were some days we were ready to throw in the towel, but it's actually been something that we try to record at least once a week, and really I look forward to the nights we record. Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, well, it comes across. It really does. So what else is coming up in this season? You talked about Colonel Grossman coming back. Any other folks that, I don't know, maybe we'd be sitting down going, wow, can't believe he's going to talk to them. You got plans for some other people? So,
Jeff, I said, well, first, I do want to address you being the opening episode. That was absolutely by design. Al had mentioned to me that he wanted to have you on. I was absolutely, we got to have Jeff Katz on. And we were dead set that we wanted to make opening episode Jeff Katz. So we appreciate that. Moving from there, we have Colonel Gross is probably our biggest guest coming up this season right now. We are actually still scheduling people, but we just had a prior dispatcher with, I think, almost 30 years she had out in California. And that we just recorded that, and that was a pretty great episode because we do feel emergency communications is one of those areas that sometimes gets forgotten or is in the background. Yep. They just had some legislation on that, unfortunately did not come through to kind of give them the equal benefits as other first responders. Hopefully that will change. But she's on. That was a really great episode. We have a L.A. County Sheriff's deputy as well, retired, that's going to be coming on. We're getting ready to record with him. We have a local officer as well that I met personally, was a listener of the podcast, and he's going to come on and talk about things that he's gone through his career. And I think that's going to be a really good episode.
I love it, man. So for folks who are maybe hearing about it for the first time, I mean, I want you to provide everybody with the way that everybody ought to take a listen to Badge to the Bone, because it's entertaining and it's informative. But what is the best way to check you guys out?
Well, what we normally do is we record and we drop to Spotify. So we kind of use Spotify as our primary platform. But you can find the show on whatever your favorite podcast platform is. We are on Amazon. We are on iTunes, Stitcher, Odyssey, iHeartRadio. Yeah, we're on Pandora. We're on all of those platforms. They can also find us on our Facebook page, which is just Badge to the Bone.
Okay.
And we definitely encourage people, if you find us, please give us a listen. Please drop a like, follow us. That just kind of helps us out, because we don't make any money for this. We do this just because we enjoy it, but it helps us kind of extend our reach and see who's out there listening to us.
Well, if I may offer one suggestion, my friends, you should offer some merchandise. Honestly, you get some Badge to the Bone gear, cups, mugs, hats, stickers. I mean, people ought to be people ought to be able to step up to the plate and say, hey, listen, we love what you're doing, and we just want to show our support.
Well, Jeff, it's funny you mentioned that. Actually, we do have some merchandise. We have T-shirts, we've got hoodies, we've got tumblers, mugs, stickers. The stickers are always popular, but we do have some Badge to the Bone merchandise. Okay. And there's a link for the podcast store that you can find on our Facebook page.
Perfect. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this shared on all of my social media. Remind everybody they can listen to Badge to the Bone. May already be listening to me on the Odyssey app. Easiest way, just look for Badge to the Bone. But we'll get everything up there. Gentlemen, thank you again for allowing me to be part of the kickoff for Season 3. And please keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great work, and I just think it's so valuable. I want you to just, it'll be bumpy here and there, but please just stay focused, stay positive, because it's great stuff, my friends. It's really, really great stuff.
Well, Jeff, thank you very, very much. That means the world to us.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks so much. We really do appreciate it.
You betcha. Thank you, gentlemen. That is Alan Sloniker and Denny Profit. These are two of the finest people you're ever going to know. They've got a great podcast called Badge to the Bone. It is about opening up what really goes on in the law enforcement community, some of the challenges, some of the difficulties. There's so much humor there. Most of it's appropriate, and, sometimes it's not. But it is what it is. It's a great listen. Again, it's right there on your Odyssey app. You're listening to me there right now on your phone in the Odyssey app. Listen to Badge to the Bone and learn a little something. If you're in law enforcement or you were in law enforcement, you're going to feel right at home. It's like being in the locker room in a good sense, maybe at roll call. And if you're not, maybe you've got a family member, you just want to know, Badge to the Bone. Great, great podcast. Again, listen to it right on your Odyssey app. It is 3:51, Jeff Katz, News Radio, WRVA.